have a couple of aggressive growth stock picks that we want you to know about, and Brian Bolan, our aggressive growth stock strategist, probably the best person to enlighten us on both of these. So appears to me that motoring up to the top spot on your list is Winnebago this time.
Outstanding, Terry. You know, we're just talking about how we like to have a little bit of infotainment here, and that was a great lead in there. Winnebago obviously is the maker of the iconic brand of motorhomes.
Yeah.
And not that I've been traveling around that much, but have you been on the road that much, or have you seen?
Only to and from the train station.
Only to and from. So you're not going to see that many Winnebagos on your travels.
Well, I'm out in the country, so chances are no out in my territory.
Okay, yeah. Just any vacation, people they're talking about staycations, things like that. Obviously, the motorhome is a possibility now when people want to, move around a little bit more. It gives you access to more places than just one. The interesting thing here, obviously, since I don't see them, out there on the road as much, but we are seeing great earnings beats. And when we see the big beats that we've been seeing out of a company like Winnebago, and I think it was 3 of the last 4 reports have been beats. There was a 35, 37%, and a like 190% almost. So that one is probably just going to be a little bit of probably some noise inside of that. There could have been a division sold off or something like that to give a little extra boost there. But those two 30% plus beats are indications that there is definitely big growth and strong action here. Then if you look at the top line, you can also see that sales are increasing. So something is going on. We may not see it because we're not on the wide open highways of the United States, but apparently a lot more Winnebagos are being sold. And it is a Zacks rank 1, and if we take a look at the stock chart here, we can see that it's been running up the hill.
It is something that I've often thought about.
You want to go on a vacation in a...
Just selling my house and spending the rest of my days touring the country in one of those huge...
Going mobile.
Vehicles.
Right.
Yeah. So it does kind of float through my bucket list. We'll see if it ever manifests itself in reality. Netflix, NFLX, the ticker symbol. What's going on here? A lot of stuff going on here with Carl Icahn involved.
Right. Big time in the news right here because obviously the stock has had a gigantic run of late and just reported earnings the other day with a solid beat. Part of the news inside of the beat is that there are now more subscribers to Netflix than there are HBO. And then you've also had this idea of Carl Icahn in here, and I just kind of list him here as Carl Icahn, the technologist. He's done a lot of technology deals here where he's become an activist investor inside of technology stocks. Not all of them have worked out. Dell most recently is one that didn't go the way that he planned it. He still made money on the deal, but Netflix is one that really did work out for him. He bought the stock when it was close to about $50 a share. And was selling it the other day after earnings. So when the stock opened after its earnings report, the opening price was $389 and change. Carl Icahn was in there selling shares at that very time. So yesterday he sold approximately 2.4 million shares at an average price of $341.44. So about $819 million in sales that day alone. In the few days leading up to the earnings report, there were other sales of around 475,000 shares and a few buys. So about 100,000 shares was bought on the 16th, and then I think 20,000 shares on the 17th. So they're buying at like 320, and then obviously selling those shares first if you want to do a FIFO or a LIFO. Depends, doesn't really matter. He's selling close to the high and averaging up. So he moved up quite a bit, made quite a bit of money on this. I thought one of the very interesting ideas here is that he tweeted out at the end of the day, even before the filing went to the SEC about, how many shares he sold, what aspects of his company was selling. He tweeted out, thanks to the folks at Netflix for all their hard work. He's not selling his entire position. That should be noted. He's still keeping about 3 million shares, maybe a little bit underneath that. But he also wanted to thank, the Netflix people and Kevin Spacey. He felt that House of Cards, that program that was on there, was a significant part of the run-up in Netflix's shares over the last several months.
I haven't really followed the story that close. Was it ever reported why Icahn sold?
Well,
all
I
that-
think part of the reason is that he bought in a little bit over a year ago, so he's going to have the capital gains tax advantage at this time. And the stock, if you buy a stock at 50 and then it's $380, is it such a bad thing to take about half of your holdings off the table? I mean, they have gone up by almost 4 times. So when you have something like that, or more than 4, I'm sorry, it would be like 7.
Yeah, something like that.
5 times
I
7,
just wondered if there
35.
was a particular reason why he was
I
selling.
I think when you have a big gain, and once you get the tax advantage at this point, it's pretty good. Plus, there is that $400 barrier there that Netflix had a few years ago when that stock went up big. $400 was the price at which a lot of people decided, maybe this is a little bit insane what we're paying for it here. Number 1 ranked stock. If you see the chart, it still looks good. To me, after seeing the big move during earnings where the stock, moved, $60+ between the high and the low of the day, and then coming off a little bit after the Icon announcement, so it's probably even lower than that right now. I think it's probably a good buy right here.
All right. Do you own either of these two?
I do not.
All right. You kind of tenuous about that there. But I'm glad we clarified that. And just to clarify, we have other stock picks for your review on our website, Zacks.com. If you're not there already, get on over, because they change often. With Brian, I'm Terry Ruffalo.